Hello, joining me now in the studio, Suzie McNeil, singer-songwriter. Thank you so much for being here today. Suzie is wonderful. Likely many of you recognize her from her appearance on Rockstar in Excess. That was very exciting. You made it to the Final Four. You were the last female contestant standing. Good for you. You've been very busy, I guess. Hey? You're a busy lady. You've been touring, and you've got a new album out in stores. And Rock and Roller, that's what it's called. It's your second album.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Tell us a bit about what fans can expect.
It's a lot more sort of high energy than my last record. I wanted to do that on purpose. There was a lot of sort of passionate power ballads on my next record, or my last record.
Right.
And this one, I wanted to kick it up a notch. I was a lot more involved in the songwriting this time around. So I guess you could say it has a lot more of me in it.
A lot more of you in it.
But it's still sort of the same, you know, rock pop sound that doesn't exist too much these days with girls bearing that flame. So
Definitely.
I'm trying to keep it alive.
Stay strong. And you have a new music video out, Let Go. That's right. I think we've got that here. We can show it up on the screen in a few minutes. And very exciting. There's the music video.
There it is.
Maybe tell us a little bit about what it was like recording this.
That was fun. It's all CGI, like animation that was added afterwards. So the band and I were like playing it in green screen, and it's kind of hard to sort of capture the moment when you're just in a room
standing
with
in an empty
green
room
all around you. But I was really happy with how it turned out. The director is a really, really young guy. He showed up to the set and he's like 20. I was like, oh no, what's this? But he makes a living doing weird, like cartoony things like this. So I thought it was great, and I wanted to sort of match the record cover with lots of like oranges and yellows, and you know, we went with kind of like
colors.
a 70s thing. So I'm happy with it.
Nice. Well, great job. And also, I mean, your voice is very different. You have a very unique voice. It's kind of really edgy. And I mean, a lot of rock and roll artists, if you look back, I mean, Carol Pope, Janis Joplin, Wandy, they have kind of those very distinct voices. What do you think it takes for a woman to really be able to sing rock and roll?
I definitely think it takes an element of strength to you. You can't be like a soft, sort of weak, insecure woman. You have to find that strength within you. I'm not necessarily sure why that exists in rock, I guess because it's so sort of aggressive and high energy that needs to exist. And that's partly the reason why I love it so much, and I'm glad to sort of keep it alive. And like Pink is, you know, working on that, and like the Katy Perry's a bit like that too. Because it's cool for younger girls. It's cool for any girl. Like, you know, the whole Spice Girls girl power. It seems
girl power isn't dead.
so staged, but at the same time, it's a good message to get out there and to portray.
Definitely, and you mentioned that in this album, you've got a little bit more of yourself in it. You've got a song about a bad breakup that you had, I believe, 3? Yeah. Maybe tell us a little bit about that. Get a little personal.
Well, that song was fun to write because it was so cathartic, because he had just broken up with me for like the 6th time. Wow. And I went to a writing session and I was like, I have nothing to write about. I can't get my mind off of this guy. I have to write about a breakup. And it just ended up being that I wrote the whole song like about him. I used his name. I used everything that had happened.
Really?
Yeah, and there's nothing as therapeutic as that.
I bet, a good release.
Yeah, totally. And then after we finally did break up, I would be, you know, upset. I'd go through moments. I was on tour and I'd put that song on my iPod, and it totally helped me through.
Wonderful. Well, very personal. It's great for I'm sure for your fans to be able to see that kind of insight into your life. And you've been doing a lot of big things. You've worked with some big artists like Pink, you mentioned, and David Usher. What sort of thing do you try to take away from the different artists that you work with?
I definitely soak it in like a sponge. I watch their shows, what they do in their shows. You know, with Pink, it was a big boot camp lesson, that whole North American tour, where I learned, you know, even from her past, some of the decisions that she made and how she furthered herself to, you know, how she runs the big machine that is her career now. And at that time, it really inspired me to listen to this woman go, you know, I wanted that, I went and found it, and I got it. This is nothing like that.
Nice. Well, that's good stuff. Also, I mean, your new album's titled Rock and Roller. Maybe tell me a little bit about what that means to you to be sort of a genuine rock and roller.
Well, the reason I decided to call it that is because I was, when we were recording it, feeling a bit insecure about the fact that it was rock. And like I said, this is a very urban R&B musical climate right now. And I was like, you know, what are we doing? But at the same time, it's me, it's who I am, and my producer and I really loved the process and loved the music. So all a part of being rock and roll and, like, you know, anything goes and own it was I decided not only am I not going to be ashamed of it, I'm going to actually call it that.
Nice.
So that's one of the that's one of the tracks on the record, and I'm proud.
Good, and you should be proud. Thank you so much for joining us, Suzie McNeil. Make sure you pick up her new album, Rock and Roller, in stores now.